Episode 1. The crack in the ceiling. Jalen had sat in the back pew his whole life. Not because he didn't believe, not because he was rebellious. The back just gave him space to breathe. Space to observe, space to leave quickly if he needed to. Tonight the church felt louder than usual. The choir swayed in practiced rhythm, robes brushing in synchronized arcs. The drummer rode the tempo like he was steering emotion itself. The pastor's voice rose and fell with calculated urgency, building pressure the way a storm builds over water. Jalen felt it in his chest first, a vibration that didn't belong to him. The sanctuary was full, packed shoulder to shoulder, hands lifted, eyes closed. Some already crying, the word amen hit the air in unison and seemed to land in the same invisible place each time. And something inside him shifted. It wasn't dramatic, no flash of light, no thunder, just a subtle dislocation like a camera lens snapping into sharper focus. The ceiling cracked, not physically, perceptually. A thin line split across his vision, running from one end of the sanctuary to the other. And through that line he saw something else laid over the room. The worship did not disappear, it reorganized. The music became structure. Sound waves hardened into visible pattern, geometric grids that rippled outward from the pulpit. Each drumbeat reinforced the pattern. Each shouted phrase locked another segment into place. Above the pastor's head something rotated slowly. At first it looked like heat distortion, then it took shape. An intricate, luminous mechanism suspended in the air, rings interlocked with precise timing, threads extended downward, subtle and almost beautiful, slipping into the chest of the congregation. When someone cried, the threads tightened. When someone shouted, the structure brightened. Jalen's breath slowed. He watched how the room moved. No one thought they were synchronized, they believed they were responding individually. But from where he sat, it looked choreographed. Hands lifted at the same moment, knees bent in the same rhythm. Even the pauses between songs followed a predictable arc, tension, release, gratitude, surrender. The pastor leaned forward.
You are not who you used to be. He shouted, you are not that savage anymore.
The congregation erupted in agreement. Jalen felt the word hit differently. Savage. He watched the emotional reaction ripple through the room, relief, gratitude, validation. The structure above pulsed brighter as if fed by it. The insult was accepted because redemption followed it. First define him as broken, then offer restoration. The grid strengthened, a strand drifted toward Jalen's chest. He felt the tug, not physical but persuasive, a pull toward surrender, toward joining the rhythm. For a moment he considered closing his eyes. It would be easier. He kept them open. The luminous mechanism flickered. The ceiling crack widened slightly, and that was when he noticed them. Two figures stood at the edges of his awareness. They did not disturb the congregation, they did not interrupt the music. They existed like annotations in the margin of reality. One stood upright, still composed. His presence felt like structure, measured, stable, protective. His eyes reflected order. The other leaned slightly forward, gaze restless, almost impatient. His presence felt like fracture, not chaos, but questioning. Neither looked surprised, they looked interested. The composed one spoke without moving his mouth. This holds them together. The restless one answered quietly. It holds them in place. Jalen did not turn toward them fully. He kept watching the room. The drummer increased tempo. The choir escalated. A woman collapsed into the arms of two deacons, overwhelmed by the spirit. From Jalen's perspective, the threads thickened around her like silk tightening around a cocoon. He felt no anger, only clarity. This wasn't random emotion, it was architecture. Fear at the base, shame layered over it, relief offered at the top. The pattern repeated in wave after wave. The pastor shouted again. The congregation responded in perfect timing. The structure above brightened once more, stable, efficient, satisfied. And something subtle happened. The grid adjusted. A few heads turned. The deacon near the aisle shifted position, glancing toward the back. A woman in the third row opened her eyes and scanned the room briefly before closing them again. The system had registered friction. The composed figure's voice returned.
You are stepping outside the rhythm.
The restless figure's tone carried something sharper.
They can feel when someone is not moving with them.
Jalen felt it too. The space around him thickened, like air turning to water. The breathing of the room deepened. In, out. He realized something precise and chilling. The program did not need to punish deviation. It only needed to detect it. The pastor raised both hands.
Let the spirit move.